The text message lit up my phone at 11:47 p.m. My daughter, Vanessa. Dad signed over the ranch to me this afternoon. Power of attorney is mine too. The lawyer said you can contest it if you want, but Dad was clear about his wishes. Sorry, Marcus. Then I smiled, because at that exact moment, Dad was sitting across from me at my kitchen table, eating the apple pie my wife made sharp as he'd ever been. Let me back up. I'm Marcus Reeves, 62 years old, taught high school history for 34 years before I retired. My father, Walter, is 79, tough as leather, stubborn as a mule, and until 6 months ago, the most independent man I'd ever known. Ran a small cattle ranch outside Billings, Montana for 50 years. 200 acres of prairie grass and big sky. Not much, but it was his. Dad had a stroke last April. Not a massive one, thank God, but enough to put him in the hospital for 3 weeks. Left side weakness trouble with his leg. The doctors said his mind was fine, just his body needed time to heal. He'd need help for a while. Maybe a long while. I drove up from my place in Bozeman the day it happened. 6 hours of mountain roads, my hands gripping the steering wheel, praying he'd still be alive when I got there. He was. Groggy, frustrated, but alive. My sister Vanessa flew in from Denver 2 days later. Now, I need to tell you about Vanessa. She's 4 years younger than me. 58, works in pharmaceutical sales. Always has. Makes good money. Drives a nice car. Wears expensive clothes. But here's the thing about Vanessa. She's been underwater financially for years. Bad divorce 10 years ago. Lost half of everything. Then she got into some real estate investments that went south. I only knew because Dad mentioned it once, worried about her. When we were kids, Vanessa was Dad's favorite. No question about it. She was the baby, the girl, the one who could do no wrong. I was the responsible one. The one who helped with the ranch work, who stayed close to home. I didn't resent it. That's just how it was. But somewhere along the way, Vanessa and Dad grew apart. She visited maybe once a year, called on birthdays and Christmas. Meanwhile, I drove up from Bozeman every other weekend, helped him fix fences, move cattle, just sat with him on the porch, talking about nothing and everything. After the stroke, the hospital social worker said Dad would need round-the-clock care for at least 6 weeks, then regular help after that. The ranch was too isolated, too hard to manage. I suggested he come stay with me and my wife Linda in Bozeman. We had the space. Linda's a retired nurse. It made sense. Vanessa suggested a rehabilitation center near Denver, close to her. Professional care, she said. Better facilities. Dad chose my place. I could see the hurt flash across Vanessa's face, but she hugged Dad and said she understood. That first month was hard. Dad hated being dependent. Hated the walker. Hated needing help to shower. Hated every minute of weakness. But slowly he improved. Physical therapy 3 times a week. Linda helped him with exercises at home. By June, he was walking with just a cane. By July, we were talking about him maybe going back to the ranch with some hired help. Then Vanessa started calling more. At first it was nice. Checking on Dad, chatting with him for 20 or 30 minutes. Then the calls got longer. An hour, sometimes 2. Dad would take them in the guest room, door closed. One evening in late August, Dad seemed distracted at dinner. Picked at his food. Linda asked if he was feeling okay. Fine, he said. Just thinking. About what? I asked. Vanessa thinks I should sell the ranch. I set down my fork. Sell it. Says I can't manage it anymore. Says I should take the money live somewhere easier. She's probably right. Linda and I exchanged glances. The ranch was Dad's life. His father had homesteaded that land in 1947. Selling it would break his heart. If that's what you want, Dad, we'll support you, I said carefully. But there's no rush. You're getting stronger every day. He nodded, but he looked troubled. Over the next few weeks, Vanessa's visits increased. She'd fly up for the weekend, take Dad out for lunch for drives. She was attentive, affectionate. It was like watching her try to make up for 10 years of absence in a few weeks. I wanted to be happy about it. I wanted to believe my sister had realized what mattered. But something felt off. In September, Dad mentioned Vanessa had suggested he update his will. "Just to make sure everything's in order," he said, "in case something happens." "That's not a bad idea," Linda said. "Have you talked to Robert Chen?" "He handled your will last time, didn't he? Vanessa says she knows a good estate lawyer in Denver. Offered to set up the appointment, take me down there." "Why not use Chen here in Montana?" I asked. "He knows your situation." Dad shrugged. "Vanessa says this guy specializes in ranch properties. Knows all the tax implications." A cold feeling settled in my stomach, but I pushed it away. I was being paranoid. Vanessa was my sister. She was just trying to help. 2 weeks later, Vanessa picked up Dad for a long weekend in Denver. She'd arranged some appointments, she said. Checkups with specialists, meet with that lawyer. Just take care of some paperwork. Dad packed his bag. He was walking well now, barely using the cane. He hugged Linda and me goodbye. "Take care of your father," I told Vanessa at the door. She smiled. "Of course. He's in good hands, Marcus. Don't worry so much." They were gone 4 days. When Dad came back, he seemed tired, quiet. I asked how the appointments went. "Fine," he said. "Doctors say I'm healing well." "And the lawyer?" "That too, all set." I wanted to ask more, but he went to his room and closed the door. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, Linda breathing softly beside me. Something was wrong. I could feel it the way you feel a storm coming before the clouds arrive. The next morning I called Robert Chen. "Marcus, how's Walter doing?" "Better every day." "Listen, Robert, did Dad contact you about updating his will?" "No, not recently." "Why?" I explained about the Denver lawyer. There was a pause. "Marcus, I can't give legal advice about your father's affairs without his consent, but be careful. After a major health event, elderly people can be vulnerable to undue influence, especially regarding estate planning." Undue influence. When someone in a position of trust pressures or manipulates an elderly person into changing legal documents in their favor. It's more common than you'd think. I thanked him and hung up. My hands were shaking. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to think my own sister would do something like that. But the pieces fit together too well. I needed proof. I needed to know what was really happening. That afternoon, while Dad was napping and Linda was at the grocery store, I did something I'm not proud of. I went into Dad's room and looked through his paperwork. I'm not a snoop. I've never invaded his privacy. But I had to know. In his bag from the Denver trip, I found a folder. Power of attorney documents, a revised will, and bank statements, photocopies Dad had apparently requested. My hands trembled as I read. The power of attorney gave Vanessa complete control over Dad's finances and medical decisions effective immediately. The will left everything to Vanessa, the ranch, the savings, all of it. There was a single line mentioning me to my son, Marcus. I leave my gratitude for his care, but no financial bequest, as he has his own career and stability. I sat on the edge of Dad's bed, staring at the papers. The will was dated 2 weeks ago. The same trip to Denver. But something else caught my attention. The bank statements showed unusual activity. Transfers. $5,000 here, $8,000 there. Withdrawn from Dad's account over the past 6 weeks. Dozens of transactions. I took photos of everything with my phone and put the papers back exactly as I found them. Linda came home. I showed her the photos in our bedroom, door closed, voice low. She went pale. "Oh my God, Marcus, what do I do? You have to tell Walter. What if he chose this? What if he really wants Vanessa to have everything? Linda grabbed my hands. Marcus, look at those bank statements, those withdrawals. When did they start? I looked. Late August, right when Vanessa started visiting more. You have to tell him, Linda repeated. But I couldn't. Not yet. Because if I was wrong, if I was just being paranoid and jealous, I'd destroy what was left of our family. I'd hurt Dad. I'd lose my sister. I needed more information. I called a friend from my teaching days, Karen Washington, who'd become a social worker specializing in elder care. Karen, hypothetically, if someone suspected financial exploitation of an elderly parent. What would you look for? She rattled off red flags. Sudden changes in financial documents, isolation from other family members, unexplained withdrawals, new people involved in finances. The elder seeming confused or pressured, every single one applied. If this is real and not hypothetical, Karen said carefully, you need to act fast. Once money is moved or property is sold, it's incredibly hard to recover. And Marcus. These situations are almost always family members. That's what makes them so devastating. I spent the next week watching, noticing things I'd missed before. The way Dad seemed anxious before Vanessa's phone calls. The way he'd look at me afterward, with something like guilt in his eyes. The way Vanessa always found reasons for Dad to talk to her privately. On a Tuesday in October, Vanessa called. I answered. Hey Marcus, I need to come get Dad this weekend. Some paperwork at the ranch needs his signature. Property tax stuff. We'll be back Sunday night. What paperwork? Just bureaucratic nonsense. The county requires owner signatures for some new assessment thing. I can take him. I'm familiar with the ranch documents. That's okay. I've already arranged everything with the county clerk. Besides, I need to check on the property anyway. The foreman says one of the fences is down. After we hung up, I called the ranch foreman, Jim Holloway, who'd worked for Dad for 20 years. Jim, it's Marcus. Vanessa mentioned a fence down. News to me, Marcus. Everything's secure here. Has she been by recently? About 3 weeks ago. Brought some real estate agent, actually. Said she was just getting an appraisal for insurance purposes. I thought Walter knew about it. My blood ran cold. Thanks, Jim. I called the county clerk's office. No new property tax requirements. No paperwork needed. She was lying. That night I sat Dad down. Just him and me on the back porch, the Montana sunset. Painting the sky orange and purple. Dad, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me. He looked at me warily. What's this about the will, the power of attorney? Did you really want to change those things? His jaw tightened. That's my business, Marcus. I know, you're right. But Dad, I saw the bank statements, the withdrawals. His face went gray. Vanessa said she needed help, he said quietly. She's in trouble, Marcus. Bad trouble. She owes people money. She said if she didn't pay them back, she'd lose her house, her car. Everything. She was crying. My little girl was crying, asking her father for help. What was I supposed to do? How much have you given her? 50,000 so far. She needs another 30. $80,000. More than a third of Dad's savings. And the power of attorney, the will. He looked away. She said it was just to make things easier, to help manage my care. The ranch, too. She said you had your own life, your retirement. She said she had more time, more resources. It made sense. Did she tell you she brought a real estate agent to the ranch? His head snapped toward me. What? 3 weeks ago. Jim saw her. She told him it was for insurance appraisal. Dad stood up, gripping the porch rail. She wouldn't. She knows that ranch is. It's all I have left of my father, of my life. Dad, I think Vanessa is planning to sell the ranch. I think once she has power of attorney, she's going to move you somewhere, maybe a care facility, maybe her place, and sell the property. That money won't go to pay off her debts. It'll disappear into her life, and you'll have nothing. He didn't speak for a long time. Then, she's my daughter. I know. She wouldn't do that to me. I hope you're right. But Dad, please, let me call Robert Chen. Let's just review those documents Vanessa had you sign. If everything's legitimate, fine. I'll apologize for doubting her. But if something's wrong... He was quiet. Then he nodded once. The next morning, I drove Dad to Robert Chen's office. We brought the documents. Chen read them carefully. His expression darkened with each page. Walter, did you understand what you were signing? Vanessa explained it. Power of attorney for my care. Updating my will to reflect my wishes. Did you wish to disinherit Marcus completely? Dad looked at me, stricken. She said he was financially stable. She said she needed it more. Chen leaned forward. Walter. This power of attorney is incredibly broad. It gives Vanessa complete control over every aspect of your life. She could move you to a facility without your consent. She could sell your property without consulting you. She could drain your accounts legally because you've given her that authority. But she wouldn't. Maybe not. But why give her the power to Walter? I've seen this before. Someone makes small requests. Can you lend me $5,000? Can you co-sign this? Then the requests get bigger. Then suddenly there's urgency. Sign these papers now. Dad, we don't have much time. Before you know it, you've signed away everything and you can't undo it. Dad's hands trembled. What do I do? We can revoke the power of attorney. We can challenge the will if it was signed under duress or undue influence. But I need to ask you directly, do you want Vanessa to have this level of control over your life? Dad looked at me, tears in his eyes. I don't know. She's my daughter. But Marcus, I don't want to lose the ranch. I don't want to be put somewhere I don't choose. Then we fight this, Chen said. But we need to move now. Once she realizes you're questioning things, she may accelerate her plans. We spent the next 3 hours in Chen's office, drafting new documents, revoking the power of attorney, freezing Dad's bank accounts so no more money could be moved without multiple signatures. When Vanessa called that evening to confirm the weekend trip, I answered. Actually, Vanessa, Dad's not feeling well. We're going to postpone. What's wrong? Should I come up? No, it's fine. Just a rough few days. He needs rest. I could hear the suspicion in her voice. Marcus, is something going on. Like what? You're being weird. Put Dad on the phone. He's sleeping. Marcus. We'll call you later, Vanessa. Bye. I hung up. 10 minutes later, she called Dad's cell phone directly. He looked at me. I nodded. He answered. Hey, sweetheart. I listened to one side of the conversation. No, I'm okay. Just tired. But no, Marcus told you the truth. Listen, Vanessa. We need to talk. About the papers I signed in Denver. I've been thinking. What? No, I didn't talk to another lawyer. But, Vanessa, please don't. Okay. Okay. We'll talk when you visit next. Love you too. He hung up. His hand was shaking. She's angry, he said. She knows I talked to someone. She said I'm letting you turn me against her. She said you're just worried about your own inheritance. Is that what you think? He looked at me. Really looked at me. At the son who'd driven up every other weekend for years. Who'd taken him in after his stroke. Whose wife had patiently helped him relearn to walk. No, he said finally. No, that's not what I think. Vanessa arrived unannounced 2 days later. Friday afternoon, I was at the hardware store. Linda called me in a panic. Marcus, Vanessa's here. She's trying to take Walter. She says he needs better care. She says there's a facility in Denver expecting him this evening. She's got paperwork. Don't let her take him. She's his daughter. I can't physically stop her. I drove home doing 80 on roads that called for 55. I prayed I wouldn't get pulled over. Prayed I'd get there in time. When I burst through the door, Vanessa was in the living room. Dad was sitting on the couch looking small and confused. Vanessa had her phone out talking to someone. Yes, my father's ready for admission. We'll be there by 8 tonight. No, his current caregivers don't object. What, hold on? She looked at me. Marcus, tell them Dad's ready to move to the Denver facility. No. Excuse me. He's not going anywhere. She smiled. A cold smile I'd never seen before. Marcus, I have power of attorney. I make medical decisions. Dad needs professional care, and I'm arranging it. That power of attorney was revoked 3 days ago. Her smile vanished. What? Dad signed a revocation with Robert Chen. You have no authority over him. None. She turned to Dad. Is that true? Dad nodded. I'm sorry, sweetheart, but I didn't understand what I was signing. I didn't realize. Dad, I explained everything. I'm trying to help you. By stealing his money, I said. $80,000, Vanessa. We've documented every withdrawal. Her face went white, then red. That was a loan. He gave it to me. Without any paperwork, any repayment plan. That's called financial exploitation, Vanessa. Especially when you got power of attorney at the same time. You son of a bitch. You're trying to turn him against me. Dad stood up. His voice was stronger than I'd heard it in months. Nobody's turning me against you, Vanessa. You did that yourself. When you lied about needing money. When you brought a real estate agent to my ranch behind my back. When you tried to put me in a home without asking me what I wanted. I was protecting you. From what? From him. She pointed at me. Marcus acts like such a saint. But where was he when you were building that ranch? When Mom was sick. He left, he went to college, moved away, made his own life. You're the one who visited once a year, Dad said quietly. You're the one who forgot my birthday 3 times. You're the one who only called when you needed something. And I let it slide because you're my daughter, and I love you. But I won't let you take everything I've worked for and pretend it's for my own good. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. Real ones, I think. Daddy, I'm in trouble. Real trouble. I owe people money. If I don't pay them back, then you'll face the consequences, like an adult, not by stealing from your father. It's not stealing. You would have left it to me anyway. Maybe I would have. But that was my choice to make, not yours to take. She looked at both of us. Then she grabbed her purse and walked to the door. Fine. Keep your precious ranch. Keep your money. But don't call me when you need help. Don't expect me to come running when things get bad again. Vanessa, Dad started. She slammed the door. Through the window, I watched her get in her rental car and speed away. Dad sat back down heavily. He looked like he'd aged 10 years in 10 minutes. Linda brought him water. He sipped it slowly. Did I do the right thing? He asked. Yeah, Dad, you did. She's still my daughter. I know. I love her, even after all this. I know that too. He was quiet for a long time. Then, will she be okay? I don't know. But that's not your responsibility. Not anymore. We sat in silence as the afternoon light faded. Robert Chen filed formal complaints with the Colorado Bar Association about the lawyer who'd drawn up the documents he'd apparently failed to verify Dad's comprehension or independence. We didn't press criminal charges against Vanessa. Dad didn't want that. But we did demand repayment of the $80,000 with a structured plan. She never responded. Never called. For weeks I half expected her to show up again, but she didn't. In November, Dad moved back to the ranch. We hired a live-in aide, a retired nurse named Patricia, who loved the quiet of Montana. Jim Holloway promised to check on Dad daily. I still drove up every weekend. On Thanksgiving, it was just me, Linda, Dad, and Patricia at the ranch. We cooked a turkey made too much stuffing and didn't talk about who was missing from the table. That night, Dad and I sat on the porch. First snow of the season dusting the prairie. "Do you think she'll ever come back?" he asked. "Maybe, maybe not. But Dad, you did everything right. You gave her chances. You helped her when she asked. You can't sacrifice yourself to save someone who doesn't want to be saved." He nodded slowly. "You know what the worst part is I keep thinking about when she was little. Smart as a whip. Funny. Kind. When did that change? When did she become someone who'd do this? I don't know. Maybe desperation. Maybe it was always there and we didn't see it. Maybe it doesn't matter. It matters to me. I know." We sat in silence. Then Dad said, "Marcus, yeah, thank you for not giving up, for fighting for me even when I didn't fight for myself. You're my dad. What else was I going to do?" He reached over and squeezed my shoulder. His grip was still strong. That was 6 weeks ago. Dad's doing well, walking without the cane most days, talking about getting a few more cattle next spring. Patricia keeps him company and makes sure he takes his medications. Vanessa sent a text 3 weeks ago. Just to me, not to Dad. "You won. Happy now." I didn't respond. There's nothing to say. I didn't win anything. We all lost. We lost the family we thought we had. We lost the sister and daughter we thought Vanessa was. But Dad didn't lose his independence, didn't lose his ranch, didn't spend his final years in some facility wondering where his life had gone. So when I got Vanessa's text that night, the one saying Dad had signed everything over to her, I smiled. Because Dad was sitting right in front of me. Because we'd caught it in time. Because for once the bad guy didn't win. Linda asked me later why I was smiling at my phone. "Just Vanessa," I said. "Being Vanessa. What did she want? Doesn't matter. She's too late." And she was. We'd outmaneuvered her. We'd protected Dad. We'd won the fight she didn't even know we were having. Some people might say I should have confronted her sooner, should have given her more chances, should have tried to reconcile. Maybe they're right. But I learned something through all this. You can love someone and still set boundaries. You can be family and still protect yourself. You can forgive someone without letting them destroy you. Dad taught me that. By being brave enough to say no, by choosing himself over his daughter's manipulation. I'm proud of him for that. And if Vanessa ever comes back, truly comes back with genuine remorse and desire to rebuild, we'll be here. The door's not locked, but we're not leaving it wide open anymore either. Some lessons cost too much to learn twice.